All right, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel and to another session of the Hindu analysis. Today is 2nd of May 2026 and we are live. Waiting for your responses in the chat box. If you guys are here, let me know in the chat and then we shall start. Rudransh is here. Good evening. Chandrlekha is also here. Good evening. Aaron is here. All right. Yes, I'm doing much better today. Almost 80% recovered. कल तो बहुत हालत खराब हो गई थी यार. मतलब I don't remember the last time I got that ill. It was crazy. Felt like almost gonna die yesterday. But yeah, much better today. Thank you for asking, guys. Much better. ऑलराइट ठीक है चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन आज की बातचीत टुडे 2nd of May 2026 three topics for discussion today. UAE and OPEC commercial LPG के प्राइस बढ़ गए हैं and increased solar capacity. Not a very interesting newspaper to be honest if you ask me today, but it is what it is. We're gonna do whatever is relevant. ठीक है, three new vocab words. That is what is on today's agenda. सैटरडे को यूजुअली टर्न आउट कम रहता है, तो मेंटी क्विज हम मंडे या ट्यूसडे में करते हैं. वॉट एवर यू गाइस डिसाइड. आज तो मुझे नहीं लगता ज़्यादा लोग आएंगे, बट नेवरदिलेस थैंक यू फॉर आस्किंग एवरीवन. आई एम डूइंग मच बेटर नाउ. अर्नव इज सेइंग फीलिंग चिपी नाउ सर. यस ठीक है, तो दैट इज टुडेज एजेंडा. बाकी एक काम और करते हैं, कल वाली पीपीटी एक बार जल्दी से हम ओवरव्यू ले लेते हैं, बिकॉज कल मैं कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाया था अपना सेशन. दैट्स द फर्स्ट टाइम इन द लास्ट 2 years आई हैव हैड टू स्टॉप द सेशन इन द मिडल. ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं हुआ है. बट या लेट मी जस्ट क्विकली टेक यू गाइज थ्रू 1st of May की पीपीटी. एक सेकेंड रुको जरा. हेलो एंजल, वेलकम टू द सेशन. ऑलराइट चलो 1st of May का देख लेते हैं एक बार. ग्रीन मेथनॉल, लेबर डे एंड पीआईएल jurisdiction. These were the three topics which we did yesterday, which we were supposed to do yesterday rather. A plant has been ranked as one of the top 100 invasive species in the world. Decade से ये threaten कर रहा था कच्छ के बायोडाइवर्सिटी को. अब जो है इसको ग्रीन मेथनॉल के लिए यूज किया जाएगा. इसका नाम है साइंटिफिक प्रोसोपिस जूलीफ्लोरा, known as Gando Bawal in the region, Vilayati Kikar in North India and Simai Karuvelam in Tamil Nadu. And thousands of kilometers तक ये ग्रो हो रहा है. ब्रिटिश ने इनको इंट्रोड्यूस किया था to Green Delhi and by Gujarat Forest Department to halt the encroaching salt desert in run of Kutch. And this has become the feedstock for India's first green methanol production plant. ठीक है. Methanol would be used as a fuel in shipping, often as a replacement to what is called bunker oil. Conventional methanol from fossil fuels such as gas or coal gasification. Green methanol uses biomass from agricultural residue as source material. This project, sited at DPA in Kandla, which is in Gujarat, will produce 5 tons of methanol a day and is being built by Pune-based Thermax Energy with gasification technology from Ankur Scientific. Both companies are betting that Government of India's policy to convert ports along the western coast into green ports will create a demand for a fuel that global shipping industry is obliged to adopt under IMO guidelines. Methanol made from renewable feedstock can cut a vessel's CO2 emission by 95% and nitrous oxide emission by 80%. But yeah, it's a low carbon hydrogen carrier fuel produced by high ash coal, agricultural residues, CO2 from thermal power plants, etc. It's also called methyl alcohol or wood alcohol. Colorless होता है, flammable होता है. It's the simplest alcohol. Industrial solvent, antifreeze और fuel की तरह use होता है. And racing cars में भी fuel की तरह use होता है कई बार. Green methanol would be produced renewably. This is a low carbon liquid fuel. सही, बढ़िया. बाकी हम लेबर डे की बात कर रहे थे कल. This article talks about how without any transition period, the four codes, the four labor code, code on wages, the industrial relation code, the social security code and the OSHW code replaced the 29 central labor laws. ILO की कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई and that has not been convened since 2015. The new regime raises the threshold for prior government permission for layoff, retrenchment, and closure from 100 workers to 300 in the IR code, enabling firms which are below that size of 300, which are majority, to retrench workers without administrative scrutiny. Retrench का मतलब होता है lay off करना एक तरीके से. This OSHWC code simultaneously raises the definition of factory from 10 workers with power to 20 and from 20 workers in factory without power to 40, lifting an entire tier of smaller workplace where India's textile, garment, metal, hosiery and food processing clusters are concentrated. तो अब इनको जो है वो regulations follow नहीं करने पड़ेंगे क्योंकि ये factory की definition में ही नहीं आएंगे. Labor economists warn that this technical reclassification has a profound impact on worker coverage since majority of India's small manufacturing units employ fewer than 20 workers. The inspection architecture has been similarly diluted. OSHWC code replaced unannounced inspections with an inspector-cum-facilitator model combined with randomized online allocation through the Shram Suvidha portal and employer self-certification, which is a shift as ILO's India Labour Inspection Profile notes may contravene the requirement under ILO Convention 81. Procedural hurdles have also stiffened. No worker may without 60 days notice. Flash strikes are prohibited. मतलब 60 days का notice देना पड़ेगा आपको strike करने के लिए. Strikes are barred during and for weeks after any conciliation or tribunal proceeding. Mass casual leave by more than 50% of workforce is now also called a strike. Trade unions argue that in combination these provisions make lawful industrial action virtually impossible to organize, completing the regime's pro-employer tilt. Reform that raises statutory thresholds in almost every operative clause is not rationalizing protection, it is removing it. The enforcement chapters read more like a facilitation framework than a compliance regime. आसान भाषा में सारी कहानी ये है कि वर्कर्स के लिए जो रेगुलेशंस हैं उनको थोड़ा सा नॉन वर्कर फ्रेंडली बना दिया गया है. ये काफ़ी हरिडली पास हो गए थे रेगुलेशंस without a lot of stakeholder discussion, so that is where it is being criticized. And the last one was, should the PIL jurisdiction be reconsidered? PIL पे ये article था. PIL we all know is public interest litigation. Who's called as the father of PIL in India? Can you guys tell me in the chat box very quickly? किसको हम कहते हैं PIL के father साहब? Hello Swara. Yes, getting back to energetic demeanor धीरे धीरे 80% हो गया हूँ मैं ठीक. कल तक most likely I'll be 100% back. Okay, good evening Stuti. Bhagwati. Okay, that's quite a precise answer. Yes, Justice P.N. Bhagwati is the right answer. Father of PIL in India. PIL emerged in the 1970s as a transformative judicial innovation aimed at widening access to justice for the poor and marginalized. This was achieved by relaxing the strict rules of standing to permit representative actions and by broadening the scope of judicial notice to allow courts to take suo motu cognizance of public issues and convert them into litigation. Over time, however, concerns have been raised about the misuse of this jurisdiction. More recently, during the ongoing proceedings in the Sabrimala reference case, the Union government urged the Supreme Court to reconsider the PIL framework altogether, citing rise of agenda-driven litigation. The evolution of PIL can be traced back to the Hussain Ara Khatun case, which marked a departure from traditional doctrine of locus standi. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि अगर आपका कोई locus नहीं है, अगर आपका कोई स्टेक नहीं है, कोई इंसेंटिव नहीं है केस में, तो आप केस फाइल नहीं कर सकते किसी और के बिहाफ पे, है ना? Under which only an aggrieved party could approach the court towards permitting representative standing. तो अब आप किसी और को भी represent कर सकते हो through PIL. The seeds of this concept was initially sown by Justice Krishna Iyer in 1976 in the Mumbai Kamagar Sabha versus Abdul Thai case. First reported case of PIL was Hussain Ara Khatun versus State of Bihar regarding inhuman conditions of prisons and under trial prisoners, and led to the release of more than 40,000 under trial prisoners. Right to speedy justice emerged as a basic fundamental right, which had been denied to these prisoners. Same set pattern was adopted in subsequent cases. Then a new era of PIL was heralded by Justice P.N. Bhagwati in case of S.P. Gupta versus Union of India, also a landmark case in India's constitutional history. And in this case, it was held that any member of the public or social action group acting bona fide, matlab in good faith, can invoke the writ jurisdiction of High Court 226 or Article 32 Supreme Court, seeking redressal against violation of legal or constitutional rights of persons who, due to socio or economic reasons, or any other disability cannot approach the court. So that was about PIL. कल की vocab देख लेते हैं. Locution. Locution का मतलब होता है there is a कहावत, a word or phrase, especially with regards to style or idiom. His locution puzzled me, disturbed me, but I was a guest at his table, so I said nothing. Then we have embezzlement. Embezzlement is a word you often hear with regards to financial crimes. This is basically, हिंदी में कहते हैं इसको, क्या कहते हैं हिंदी में, याद नहीं आ रहा. Theft or misappropriation of funds placed in one's trust or belonging to one's employer. हिंदी में इसको कहते हैं, शिट यार क्या हो गया, गबन कहते हैं, क्या कहते हैं, धांधली कहते हैं, कुछ तो ऐसे कहते हैं, याद नहीं आ रहा अभी, याद आएगा तो बताता हूँ. Theft, stealing or robbing are synonyms. They were arrested for embezzlement of company funds. Let me check यार, ऐसे देख लेते हैं, गलत बात है, याद क्यों नहीं आ रहा है. हाँ, गबन ही कहते हैं. So I was right, correct. गबन कर लेना funds का. The last word is a scuffle, a short, confused fight or struggle at close quarters. A fight, struggle, tussle. He was involved in a scuffle with the photographer. So, scuffle, embezzlement, and locution were the three words of yesterday. Let's come back to 2nd of May once again. So, ये हैं आज के 3 एजेंडा टॉपिक्स. उसके बाद हम करेंगे वोकैबुलरी. So, चलते हैं अपने न्यूज़पेपर पे. स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन. मेंटी क्विज जो हमारा पेंडिंग है वो बना हुआ है. आप लोगों का क्विज कल ही बना लिया था मैंने. मंडे को करते हैं उसको, मंडे या ट्यूसडे को. लेट्स सी. ऑलराइट, कूल. लेट्स मूव टू द न्यूज़पेपर. लेट्स सी व्हाट ऑल डू वी हैव. ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है आज के न्यूज़पेपर में. 5-6 आर्टिकल्स ही हैं विच आर रेलेवेंट अपार्ट फ्रॉम द पीपीटी. So probably won't take a lot of time today. Commercial LPG 5 kg cylinders would now cost more. So this is the headline news. कमर्शियल एलपीजी वो होती है जो होटल्स, रेस्टोरेंट्स, बिजनेसेस यूज करते हैं, एंड उसका प्राइस जो है लगभग 993 रुपीज़ से बढ़ा दिया गया है. एंड जो 5 केजी का फ्री ट्रेड एलपीजी सिलेंडर आता है उसका प्राइस 261 रुपीज़ से बढ़ा दिया है. जो बल्क डीजल इंडस्ट्रीज कंज्यूम करती है उसका प्राइस भी 149 रुपीज़ पर लीटर हो गया है. डोमेस्टिक एलपीजी के प्राइस में कोई चेंज नहीं है. जो आप और हम यूज़ करते हैं घर का खाना बनाने के लिए, हाउस होल्ड कुकिंग गैस, उसमें प्राइस हाइक नहीं किया गया है. सो देयर इज अ रिलीफ फॉर हाउस होल्ड्स. पेट्रोल और डीजल विच आर फॉर रिटेल व्हीकल्स लाइक योर्स एंड माइन, उसमें भी कोई चेंज नहीं है. और एयरलाइन के टर्बाइन फ्यूल और डोमेस्टिक फ्लाइट्स, उसमें भी कोई चेंज नहीं है. बट इंटरनेशनल फ्लाइट्स का जो एटीएफ है, एयरलाइन टर्बाइन फ्यूल, उसको जो है थोड़ा सा बढ़ा दिया गया है बाय $76 पर किलो लीटर. So yeah, these were some changes, and export taxes जो हैं recently change करे गए हैं to keep more fuel within India and to avoid shortages. Taxes को कम किया गया, which means government is easing the restrictions on exports, and that shows that the supply situation is slightly getting better. So yeah, that's the bigger picture. Businesses और small users के लिए, small industrial users के लिए थोड़ा सा नुकसान है. हाउस होल्ड्स के लिए फ़ायदा है, इंडस्ट्रीज़ को थोड़ा सा नुकसान होगा. इंटरनेशनल फ़्लाइट्स थोड़ी सी महंगी हो जाएंगी, बट या नॉर्मल पब्लिक को उतना ज़्यादा हिट नहीं लेना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. लेट्स सी व्हाट एल्स डू वी हैव. राइट इन साइड वी सी जीएसटी रेवेन्यू हिट्स रिकॉर्ड 2.43 लाख करोड़ in April. So this is just what the headline says कि एक रिकॉर्ड हाई कलेक्शन हो गया है. जीएसटी का अप्रैल के मुकाबले दिस इज 8.7% हायर, विच शोज इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी काफ़ी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है. बिजनेसेस, टैक्स अथॉरिटीज, दे आर क्लोजिंग देयर अकाउंट्स प्रॉपर्ली, पुशिंग टू सेटल ड्यूज. एंड या अप्रैल के आसपास जो है टिपिकली कलेक्शंस हायर होते हैं बिकॉज फाइनेंशियल ईयर क्लोजिंग. सो या दैट्स प्रीटी मच इट. इसमें एनालिसिस करने का कुछ आज सच है नहीं. आगे बढ़ते हैं हम लोग. This is regarding a very unfortunate tragic accident which happened in MP. जबलपुर में ये बोट पलट गई at बारगी डैम. काफ़ी सारे लोगों की इसमें डेथ हो गई है. So yeah, we'll talk about this in detail as well. Trump not satisfied with Iran's peace proposal is the article you see in the center. And we have already talked about this multiple times. He recently rejected the latest proposal by Iran, where Iran said कि आप अपने naval blockades हटा दो and हम Strait of Hormuz खोल देंगे. And Trump said he's not satisfied with that and he cannot accept those terms until Iran drops its nuclear ambitions entirely. ईरान ने पाकिस्तान के थ्रू ये प्रपोजल भेजा था. पाकिस्तान is facilitating these discussions between US and Iran का कहना है कि हमारा गोल है to end the war and achieve long term peace, बट ट्रम्प का कहना है कि हमारा गोल है ईरान को न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स परस्यू करने से रोकना। तो नेगोशिएशंस अभी रुक चुके हैं, टेंशंस आर at a high, and there's no agreement seem to be coming in the near future. Let's see what happens in the next few days. आगे चलते हैं हम लोग, let's move ahead. Supreme Court grants bail to Congress leader, not important for us. City based news is also not important for us. State news में क्या है, UPCM announces wage reforms, warns industrial unrest will harm progress. So there are efforts underway to provide free annual health insurance coverage of 5 lakh to workers, says Yogi ji. This is obviously in context with the recent protests which have been happening. Noida में हमने देखे हैं, Labor Day पे इन्होंने announcements करे, which is good. Self-enumeration phase of census begins in Jharkhand. This is the first census जहाँ पे आप self-enumerate कर सकते हो. This is also the first digital census which is happening. This is also the first census जहाँ पे caste evaluation would also take place after a very long period of time. So census हमारे लिए important है इस बार. Rajasthan rights panel takes cognizance of disruptions in health scheme service. 349 kg of cocaine worth 179. बहुत महंगी आ रही cocaine. Okay. Major narcotics ring busted, says Amit Shah. All right, nice. ठीक है, nothing important for us. Fresh hike in LPG puts Mumbai trees, tea stalls in a tight spot. All right. In a first, Karnataka government unveils digital grievance portal for gig workers. Gig workers आपके कोई platform workers होते हैं, Swiggy, Zomato, Blinkit, and so on. Shora is saying, sir, facing very major issue in analytical reasoning, what to do, very confused. Start with one topic and study the concept very thoroughly through whatever means you are studying it, be it YouTube, be it some institution you have joined, and then practice at least 20 questions of that topic, then move to the next topic. एक एक करके चलो उसको, तभी AR जो है आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगी. Start with the easier topic, number series वगैरह से start करो, then move to directions, move to blood relations. These are fairly simple topics जो आप आराम से कर सकते हो. उसके बाद puzzles start करो, simple वाले linear arrangement, simple वाले circular arrangement. Practice ample number of questions, sectional test लगाओ, topic test लगाओ, and you'll soon get over it. It's not that difficult. It just looks very overwhelming, but if you break it down into smaller chunks, it's doable. ठीक है? चार भी I'm doing much better now. I think idea लगी गया होगा थोड़ा सा आप लोगों को भी, but yeah, 70-80% I'm pretty good now. कल तक एकदम बढ़िया हो जाऊंगा मैं. कल तो तबीयत बहुत ज़्यादा खराब हो गई थी, like food poisoning हो गई, काफ़ी intense वाली, and I don't even remember the last time I got that sick. But thankfully, much better. Thank you so much for asking. चलो आगे चलते हैं. हम क्या बात कर रहे थे, गिग वर्कर्स की बात कर रहे थे ना. डिजिटल ग्रीवेंस पोर्टल इनके लिए स्टार्ट कर रही है कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट, व्हिच इज अ गुड इनिशिएटिव. दिस वुड बी फॉर डिलीवरी एजेंट्स, कैब ड्राइवर्स, एंड दिस इज फर्स्ट ऑफ अ काइंड सिस्टम इन इंडिया. जितने भी आपके उबर, ओला, स्विगी, जोमैटो डिलीवरी पार्टनर्स हैं, क्योंकि इनके पास फॉर्मल जॉब प्रोटेक्शंस नहीं होते लाइक प्रॉपर एम्प्लॉयज, एंड दे ऑल्सो डोंट हैव वेज टू रिजॉल्व कंप्लेंट्स. तो ये जो है गिग इकोनॉमी को थोड़ा सा और ज़्यादा स्ट्रक्चर्ड और फेयर बनाएगा. दे कैन फाइल दिस देयर कंप्लेंट्स ऑन दिस पोर्टल विच इज कॉल्ड IPGRS, इंटीग्रेटेड पब्लिक ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल सिस्टम. IPGRS पोर्टल करके है, and they can lodge complaints with regards to low pay or delayed payment, poor working conditions, any issue with the app or the platform. And once this complaint is filed, this would go to the company's internal dispute resolution committee, IDRC जिसको कहते हैं, and then they have to resolve this within a fixed time limit, and government would be monitoring this whole process. And this law is based on the recent Karnataka Platform-Based Gig Workers Act, which they passed, which makes it mandatory for all the platforms to handle their workers' complaints formally. There are around 12 lakh gig workers in Karnataka. So this is a significant, important step for them. So yeah, this pretty good step in the right direction. बढ़िया है. आगे चलते हैं हम लोग. Let's move ahead. Hard work by DMK cadre, not important. Documentary on Venugopal, not important. Stray dog issue in Punjab, not important. ठीक है, यहाँ पर कुछ important नहीं है. Bangalore's beloved bookstore slowly picks up pieces after flood. Okay, no move to drop Urdu language from job recruitment, says Omar Abdullah. Okay, Okay, moving ahead, we're down to the editorial section now. India's global right linkages, costs, and consequences. So this talks about how BJP's collusion with the global right is hurting India. This is by Mr. Salman Khurshid and Pushpraj देश पांडे थोड़ा सा इंटरनल पॉलिटिक्स और जियोपॉलिटिक्स की बात करता है ये आर्टिकल इट टॉक्स अबाउट हाउ right wing politics and right wing forces globally are weakening the liberal world order. And even in India, you can see this under the Bharatiya Janata Party, ऐसा ये article कहता है. They talk about various global events to set the background. They talk about the French Revolution. They talk about the two world wars. They talk about collapse of Soviet Union. They talk about the 26/11 attacks. They talk about the 2008 financial crisis. Basically, to tell you that how these events caused major global shifts. And they say that the 2008 financial crisis led to the rise of this right-wing populist approach worldwide. And अब जो है एक नया right-wing neo conservative world order इमर्ज होके आ रहा है जहाँ पे कंट्रीज आर जस्ट एक्टिंग इन देयर ओन सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट एंड दे आर फोकसिंग ऑन हाइपर नेशनलिज्म कल्चरल प्योरिटी they are not believing in global institutions and rules, and this basically challenges the liberal world order, which simply means a rule based cooperative global system जहाँ सब लोग साथ में एक दूसरे की हेल्प करते हैं. And the article argues that these right wing groups across countries are connected globally through various networks. They give you examples of Conservative Political Action Conference, Heritage Foundation, International Democracy Union. These are some groups जहाँ पे these right wing groups come together and they coordinate their messaging and build their alliances, which is leading to a rise in authoritarian tendencies worldwide, ऐसा this article argues. अब इसमें इंडिया का क्या रोल है? The author says that the Bharatiya Janata Party is part of this global right-wing alignment, and they are using diaspora groups and overseas supporters as well to influence politics abroad. Examples being their support and alignment with Donald Trump and Netanyahu. And then, they talk about how this has multiple diplomatic risks, which might develop tensions with other countries and impact on Indians abroad, where they might face racism or hate crimes and strict visa rules. And India की जो global position है वो काफी ज़्यादा weak हो रही है strategically because of this kind of politics. They compare it to the politics of Jawaharlal Nehru, जहाँ पे India used to be a neutral country. इनिशिएटिव चलाया था जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने, क्या नाम था उसका, नॉन अलाइन मूवमेंट NAM, which was kind of towards furthering global peace. But now we are moving towards a more aligned approach with certain blocks and not able to, strategically exert or influence in global geopolitics. तो यही सारी चीज़ें ऑथर कहते हैं, कह रहे हैं कि ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को रिफॉर्म करना चाहिए, इनइक्वालिटी को एड्रेस करना चाहिए, राइट विंग इन्फ्लुएंस को काउंटर करना चाहिए. यही सारी बातचीत हो रही है इस आर्टिकल में. हमारे लिए ऐसा कुछ टेक अवे तो नहीं है इसमें. मेंटी नहीं होगा स्वराज, मेंटी कल या परसों करेंगे हम. आज सैटरडे को हमेशा ही टर्नआउट कम रहता है, सो देयर इज नो पॉइंट डूइंग मेंटी विद 15-16 ऑड पीपल. कल करते हैं व्हेन मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर बैक. Left hand side, you see work in progress. India must strengthen public sector hospital capacity. So the title is quite self-explanatory. This is again with reference to a health survey जिसकी हम कल भी बात कर रहे थे regarding a survey done by National Statistical Office, which studies healthcare access, insurance coverage, medical expenses, especially after the post-COVID situation, where we evaluate the impact of national schemes like the Jan Arogya Yojana. And there are some positive takeaways here that health insurance is increasing, public health care is expanding, but some diseases are still, prevalent. जैसे non-communicable diseases are increasing, heart issues, diabetes, infectious diseases are coming down. And the problems highlighted are that insurance does not necessarily translate to access to healthcare. Even people with insurance might not get hospital beds. Hidden cost, out-of-pocket expenditure is still rising. Private hospitals are still expensive. They charge extra for all the services and tests, and the insurance does not cover that. So average cost overall has increased, but median cost has decreased. And many people are still, facing very high catastrophic expenses during healthcare. And यहाँ पे they have drawn a comparison between the poor people and the middle class. where the middle class although have more access, but they face huge medical bills in serious cases. On the other hand, poor have insurance on paper, but they are struggling to access it, to use it. And public system अभी भी काफी ज़्यादा underfunded है when it comes to chronic diseases, when it comes to advanced care, tertiary care, ICU care. So we have gotten better at handling basic care, but serious illnesses and long-term treatment में there's still a long way to go. And even though health insurance has expanded, high cost treatments are still a major financial risk. That is what this article tells us. ठीक है, आगे चले. Abu Dhabi exits OPEC for an ascent of peak oil. This we'll discuss on the PPT, although we have discussed it once already. फिर से देखते हैं. केरला UDF ये वाला आर्टिकल हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. State politics. Moving ahead. Ladakhis serve as nation's first line of defense. हमारे होम मिनिस्टर साहब पहुंच गए हैं लद्दाख on his first visit to Ladakh in 7 years. He says the demand for UT status stemmed from lack of development, noting that there has been significant progress since 2019. Congress questions government silence on Ladakh's demands. They're asking कि भाई statehood मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा. All right, India's commitment to normalize ties with Bangladesh intact, dialogue with Manipur government held, with Kukizo insurgent groups. All right. Aam Aadmi Party wins the confidence motion in Punjab Assembly. High Court bars RTI disclosure of husband's income amid row. Okay. Congress slams government on hike in commercial LPG price. Government absorbed global oil shock. ठीक है. Missing link on Pune Mumbai highway has been inaugurated. Strong rooms under strict watch, says Bengal CEO. Strong rooms होते हैं जहाँ पे voting की counting वगैरह होती है, voting होती है. ठीक है. Government empowered ED to fight financial crimes. Congress hailed Supreme Court relief for Kheda. ठीक है, nothing important here. जबलपुर बोट एक्सीडेंट की बात कर लेते हैं. कैप्साइज का मतलब पलटना होता है यहाँ पे. Toll rises to 9. 9 people have lost their lives. Survivors allege negligence by the crew. So this is the Bargi Dam in Jabalpur जहाँ पे ये accident हुआ है. Quite unfortunate due to negligence. ये Bargi Dam जो है, this is a dam on Narmada River. Thursday evening को तूफान आया, उस वजह से ये incident हुआ. 9 people passed away. 4 people are still missing. A lot of people have been rescued. And strong winds and rough waves की वजह से basically incident हुआ. Life jackets नहीं दी गई थी initially, and they ignored the warning signs to return to shore. फिर भी deep water में ले गए बोट को. अब जो है NDRF SDRF की टीम ने रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस चलाए हैं. बोट जो है ऑलरेडी 20-25 फीट पानी के अंदर जा चुकी थी. Therefore it was difficult to access. CM साहब जो है यहाँ के मोहन यादव, उन्होंने इंक्वायरी ऑर्डर कर दी है. Compensation has been announced, 2 lakh for families of deceased, 50,000 for the injured ones. But yeah, this kind of shows the lack of safety protocols and lack of proper emergency response in such incidents. And of course, crew negligence is also prevalent. बस इतना ही है, इसमें कुछ एनालिसिस करने का तो है नहीं. आगे चलते हैं. 48% ऑफ NSE फर्म्स हैव नो विमेन एज की मैनेजर्स. एक स्टडी हुई है जिसमें पता चला है नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे जो टॉप फर्म्स हैं उसमें half of them don't have women key positions. India to tap augmented solar capacity, coal to weather El Nino, summer power demand. This we'll discuss on the PPT. Business में कुछ ऐसा सच नहीं है. ठीक है. Ukraine says it hit Russia's Tuapse oil terminal. Israel's death penalty law perpetuates racial bias. Taiwan expresses concern after China calls it biggest risk. Trump orders sanctions against Cuba. Trump to raise EU auto tariffs to 25%. ठीक है. Alright, that's pretty much it in today's newspaper. As I said, not a lot of takeaways today from the newspaper. Let's come back to our PPT. Finish off the remaining 3 articles. UAE and OPEC की बात कर लेते हैं. By ditching OPEC, UAE apparently aims to steal a march over Iran and Saudi, both OPEC members for Asia's very large and thirsty crude markets. The move may also favor US President Donald Trump, who desperately needs lower oil prices before the congressional elections. While the Emiratis have reasons for quitting OPEC, the consumers in India, the world's third largest and fastest growing crude importer, would see it with tentative hope for lower fuel prices. India enjoys strategic ties with UAE, third largest trading partner, fourth largest crude supplier, to anchor the hydrocarbon relationship with the OPEC-free UAE. India might propose joint strategic investments in Indian downstream projects. OPEC के बारे में मैं already बता चुका हूँ, फिर से बता देता हूँ. It's a permanent intergovernmental organization created at Baghdad Conference in 1960 by Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi, and Venezuela to unify and coordinate petroleum policies among member countries. UAE through Abu Dhabi has been influential member since 1967, representing the entire federation. Following their exit, now there are 11 active members, which are Algeria, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, Saudi, and Venezuela. OPEC Plus बना था 2016 में alliance between OPEC and 10 other oil-producing countries to address declining oil prices due to US shale oil growth. इसमें है अजरबैजान, बहरीन, ब्रूनेई, कजाकिस्तान, Malaysia, Mexico, Oman, Russia, South Sudan, and Sudan. OPEC Plus produces 40% of world's crude oil and 60% of internationally traded petroleum. GCC का भी बता देता हूँ. This was established in 1981 by 6 Arab states of shared heritage: Saudi, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman. The vision was to promote unity, political, economical, cultural alignment, and common Islamic values, tribal links, and they operate through the Supreme Council, Ministerial Council, and Secretariat, which is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And GCC countries are located along the Persian Gulf, linking Europe, Asia, and Africa through maritime routes. कमर्शियल एलपीजी की बात हम कर चुके हैं. यहाँ पे बस ये प्राइस चेंजेस के बारे में लिखा है. For your reference, in a separate move, Ministry of Finance reduced excise duty on import of diesel to 23 rupees for every liter from 55 rupees, and that of airline fuel to 33 rupees per liter from 42. ठीक है. Oil marketing companies on Friday. ठीक है. Dependency on imports की बात करें तो we rely heavily on imports for LPG, with more than 60% needs met through imports. Prices are influenced by average Saudi contract prices for propane and butane. LPG is a mix of gases, mainly butane propane with percentage of butane limited. Pricing formula of LPG is dependent on global market trends, especially Middle East, which is our largest supplier. And the last one is regarding augmenting solar capacity and coal to weather El Nino summer power demand. So amid expectation of further increase in energy demand with peak summers coming and El Nino in sight, India could be looking at meeting its increased power requirement from traditional coal-powered thermal plants and augmented solar plants. Augmented matlab, increased capacity. In fact, when the country scaled its peak demand of 256 gigawatt on 25 April, thermal plants nearly retained dominant position with almost 67% of generation. Solar was 21.5. Solar power makes up 30% of our installed capacity, but it cannot be fully utilized due to limited battery storage. In fact, solar power is frequently curtailed to keep the grid stable. It's essential to note that India added a 44.61 gigawatt of solar capacity in the last fiscal year, which was more than double it had added in the previous year. Autumn months are coming ahead. On Friday, IMD said El Nino conditions, which usually translate to weak monsoon rains and therefore longer dry spells, are likely to prevail. During most of the monsoon months from June to September, temperatures in May would be less searing with more rain than what is usual for May over most of India except Eastern India. Gujarat, Maharashtra, Odisha, West Bengal, Andhra, and Himalayan foothills are likely to see more than its usual share of heat wave days. Wow. So, tough times ahead. Let's look at vocab for the day. The first word is unwanted. Unwanted का मतलब होता है something which is unusual. ये unwanted नहीं है, unwanted है. Unusual, uncommon, unaccustomed. He spoke with unwanted enthusiasm. Common, customary, normal are antonyms. The next word is gargantuan, which means बहुत बड़ा, विशालकाय. Enormous, extremely big, extremely large. Of all our mistakes, this was the most gargantuan. Little, mini, petite are antonyms. And the last word is unctuous. Unctuous का मतलब होता है excessively or ingratiatingly flattering. मतलब भर भर के मक्खन लगाना. Sycophantic, ingratiating, obsequious are synonyms. Genuine, heartfelt, honest are antonyms. He seemed anxious to please, but not in an unctuous way. Basically, fake appreciation कह सकते हैं इसको. ठीक है. So unctuous is excessive, flattering, gargantuan is usually large, and unwanted is unusual. And with that, we come to the end of today's discussion. Yes, Prasiti, health is much better. Thank you for asking. So nice of you guys to ask. But yeah, health is much better now. Almost fully recovered. कल मिलते हैं, कल नहीं, sorry, परसों मिलते हैं with another session. Most likely Menti quiz भी Monday को ही करेंगे. So come prepared. And yeah, that's all for the day. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Tata. Bye bye. Good night.